I'm going to elaborate on the previous video I made where I briefly mentioned a gentleman that works a corporate job and makes good money. He worked this corporate job for 11 years and does a lot of investing in stocks. And in the previous video, I talked about, how he met a young lady on a dating app. He described her as a cute, curvy, petite blonde, a 9 out of 10 on the look scale. So this gentleman sent me another email yesterday and he wants me to share the details with you guys so this scenario doesn't happen to you. Now, he sent me a 3-page email detailing his situation. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go off of memory and give you, the gist of what happened. Okay, so this gentleman is from the Midwest. He matched with this female on Bumble, and then they got into the talking phase. They were talking for about a week and just texting back and forth. So he asked her out on a date and they set up, the date and time and everything. The place he decided to take her was a high-end, very expensive restaurant in his city. He had to make a reservation, just to get a table. He said he liked her so much he really wanted to make a lasting first impression and really impress her. Now let me say this. I understand men want to impress women with nice things. In this instance, he wanted to impress this chick with a lavish restaurant. Okay? I guess, as a way to show her that he's able to do things like that. Okay, so doing this is both good and bad. Yeah, it's good and bad, and I'm going to explain why that is later, but let's get back to the story. So during dinner, they sat, ate, talked, and again, he said this was at a high-end steakhouse. The whole while they were sitting at the table, she seems as though she was interested in his hobbies and just interested in him in general. So when the bill came, you guys already know he paid. These women most of the time won't split the bill with you guys. She's going to expect for you to have that all covered. But anyway, guess how much the bill was? $217.98. So after the fancy dinner, drinks, and tips, this gentleman ended up paying almost $220, which he didn't mind because he was really into his date. So about 2 days later, this gentleman decided to hit her up. So he called her during his lunch break at work. No answer. So he shrugged it off and not thinking it was a big deal. Heck, maybe, she was busy herself at the moment. So once he got home later that evening, he called her again. Again, no answer. Now, mind you, he said that he gets home around 6:30 every evening. But yeah, no answer. So, he was kind of beginning to wonder why she didn't return his call from earlier in the afternoon when he was on his lunch break. So he didn't think no more about it the rest of that evening. So the next day he gets home again, but this time he attempted to reach out to her via text message. And this is what he says. He said, "Hey, how's it going? Just wanted to check in on you and, see how you're doing. I enjoyed dinner the other night and we got to do it again sometime soon. Text me or give me a call whenever you're free." Guess what happened? She leaves him on read. So she read his message, but for whatever reason did not respond. 30 minutes went by. He didn't hear from her. He understands that, people get busy and all of that, but something started to seem fishy with the whole situation. Okay, so he waited an hour and guess what? Still no response. So he went to bed with that on his mind. At this point, he's starting to second guess himself. A few days passed and he never heard back from her. So the gentleman tells me in his email how he would be sitting in his car while on lunch break and just thinking about the whole situation. And he eventually just accepted the fact that he was ghosted. Despite the fact that, this female came off as though she was so interested in him and so interested in his hobbies, his profession, and all of that. she ghosted him. And that first time he texted her and she left him on red, that was really a big red flag right then and there. And it only takes a few seconds to respond to a text. We already know that. It only takes a few seconds, you know? She could have just picked up the phone and just quickly acknowledged his message. It takes no time to do that. But she didn't do that. So the telltale signs were there. She wasn't truly interested in you, sir. She was just interested in what you could do for her. In this case, taking her to a high-end restaurant. And don't be surprised if she was entertaining another guy while you were trying to reach out to her. You know, these women will play nice and smile in your face, but they have a rotation of guys, like I said before. They are simultaneously entertaining. You're not the only one she's seeing. She has different guys that can cater to her every need. You just happen to be the foodie date guy. She has the guy that can take her on foodie dates. She has the guy that can provide her entertainment. She has the guy that can take her on trips. She has the guy that can give her money. She has the guy that can repair and fix things when she needs that. She has the simp guy that's just there to validate her and boost her ego. She has the guy that's 6 feet tall. See what I mean? That's just a few examples, but they got a rotation of guys. And each guy caters to her different need. Yeah, that's what modern women do. That's exactly what they do. I've told you guys this. That is what they do. They even get on social media and teach this to younger girls. They teach younger girls, instead of relying on one man to do everything, to just have an arsenal of men where each one has a certain attribute that can be exploited. So this is why they have a rotation of men. Each man provides a different value to her. So back to the story. Yeah, this is, yet another example of why you should not take modern women seriously. And again, this gentleman wanted me to share this email with you guys so you can hear what's going on every day out in these streets. Guys get ghosted all the time after they spend an inordinate amount of money on a female. The guy is usually genuinely interested in the female, but she always has an ulterior motive. Always. And this situation is a perfect example of that. So yeah, at the end of his email, he said that he would sit in his car and think about it. This is on his lunch break. And so he decides to delete the dating apps off of his phone. Good for him. That's what he needed to do. He also mentioned to me that he's becoming very cynical and believes that mostly all females are only interested in what a guy can do for them. He's realizing this. So he told me that he's 5'9". He's a Caucasian male, and while he usually doesn't have a problem getting dates, the female usually almost ends up ghosting him for no reason. And this has happened one too many times. I'm just going to put it in my own words and say it in a nicer way. He's becoming resentful and would rather not deal with them at all. He says he plays his video games and stuff like that and would rather play his classics like Super NES or his Nintendo 64. And while I'm on that point, let me say this. I had a bunch of you guys email me and say you'd rather spend time on the sticks than on dating apps. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Guys are saying their new hobbies are classic video games like PS1 or N64. They say they'd rather put their money towards things that actually bring them peace and joy, something that modern women does not do. She doesn't bring peace and joy. No, what she brings is disappointment, chaos, and confusion. Now earlier, remember when I said it's good and bad? Sure, it's good that, you as a man, you're willing and able to do what you need to do for that woman or for a certain woman. It looks good on your part. It shows that, you have high standards. But here's the catch, guys. You just can't treat these modern women, these females, like that nowadays. You just can't do it. This isn't the 50s where you can wine and dine a woman and you could build a relationship from that. But nowadays, things are totally different. These chicks just want to play games. And no, I don't mean Super Smash Brothers on Nintendo 64. When I say they just want to play games, I mean they just want to play mind games with you guys. The gentleman that sent me this email, he actually went into a bit of a depression. He liked her just that much. She was definitely his type, but then she ghosts him for no apparent reason. So now he's reached his breaking point. He no longer wants to participate in the dating game. And that's another thing that I want to talk about. Do you guys notice they always call it the dating game? Capital G, capital A, capital M, capital E, the dating game? Yeah, because that's exactly what it is, a game. How did they know to place the word game after dating in the first place? Something to think about, right? And dating is just a huge game, and a lot of men are walking away. When other men hear situations as the one that we're discussing now, it deters them from wanting to participate in this so-called game. So needless to say, the gentleman that sent me this email was disappointed and angry at the same time, and I can't blame him at all. A guy usually just wants a female so he can treat her nice and everything. But females make that very difficult to do. A guy is able to love a female more than she is able to love him. And that's a fact. That's truth. That's why when a breakup happens, it's always the guy that's disgruntled. And that's why 80% of divorces are initiated by women. So guys, like I said, I just wanted to discuss that with you because he did reach out to me, and like I said, he sent a whole 3-page email, but I just wanted you guys to kind of give you the gist of what he was talking about, and he don't want the same thing to happen to you guys. So I think that was awfully nice of him to reach out to me after he saw the video. He just decided to go ahead and tell me the whole story. So in the comments, he wants to know what you guys think as well. So let him know what you think about his situation in the comment section. Okay, so just let him know. I feel so bad for this gentleman because he really tried, as all men have really tried, to please these women. And like I said, you just can't please these women. No matter what you do, nothing's never ever good enough for them. You just can't do it. You cannot do it. Nothing's good enough for them. They claim they want, a high value man, but then they end up ghosting the high value man, the same man that they claim that they want. They want all these high standards in a man. But then when they get that man, they do the same thing to each and every guy that they meet. They end up using and abusing you. And it's just such a shame. But they always wonder where you guys are, where are the good men at? Well, look at what you all are doing, modern women. Look at what you're doing to these men. So I don't blame them. That's what I wanted you guys to know since he reached out to me, but I feel so bad for him. Like I feel bad for all men who are mistreated, used, and abused. So guys, I'm going to end it there. I just wanted to, elaborate on the video that I made about this guy the other day, and, just to let you know what really happened. And I feel so bad for him because he did go into a bit of a depression, which I'm sure all men do when they're used and abused like that, modern women. So guys, I'm glad you tuned in. Let him know what you think in the comment section. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And always remember, now you know why I say this, leave these modern women alone. And I will see you in my next one.